So I'm pretty sure everybody knows the picture of the iceberg with the tip sticking out of the water, and then there's just like all that stuff underneath the surface. And this picture can literally be used for anything. There's so many meanings and uses behind that metaphor. I'm going to use this one for the case of codependency, because no matter what, we all have codependent and narcissistic qualities, and some of us way more than others. And that's what brings like a true codependent, a true narcissist. But even just, regular people, we all have these things within us. And codependency is a symptom. It is the tip of the iceberg. It supports the top. But what is not visible to the naked eye? Underneath codependency are toxic relationships. And why is because like attracts like. And when somebody has a hole, an emotional hole, someone with an emotional wound is going to attract someone else with an emotional wound. And it becomes this codependent, narcissistic control dynamic. It is a magnetic pull. And if we think it's just the relationship, without realizing there's so much more to it. Like, if you simply just get rid of that person or discard that person or wind up discarded, right? We find ourselves in a relationship with somebody else that repeats the same cycle. And I know people, I've been in them, people have been in them for decades, the same cycles of toxic relationships with completely different people, but the same dynamics. So there's the codependency on the top, and underneath that is the toxic relationship. But what is holding up these toxic relationships in place? What is beneath those toxic relationships? And underneath them are a lack of healthy behaviors. So for example, the inability to say no, not being able to trust your gut, your intuition, your natural instincts, a lack of knowing what healthy boundaries look like, or if you do know, you have the inability to enforce them. Conflict avoidance, even if avoiding it comes at this high cost that is detrimental to yourself. And always putting yourself last on everyone's list of priorities, including your own. Those are the behaviors that attract those toxic relationships. So we got the codependency, the toxic relationships, the unhealthy behaviors. But we can't have behavior without a feeling, okay? So what are the feelings that are driving those behaviors, that are driving those toxic relationships and causing to have those symptoms of codependency? Those behaviors are our feelings. And some of them might be fear. It could be fear of abandonment, neglect, rejection, making people angry, fear of loneliness, lack of self-love, severe self-love deficit, deep-rooted shames, lack of self-identity, social anxiety, and just plain insecurity. So now we're looking at the whole picture, right? Is that all? No. So we can't have a feeling without first having a thought. So what are the thoughts that are driving those feelings, that are causing those behaviors, that are pushing us into toxic relationships, keeping us in this loop? Oftentimes this can be an internal voice of toxic people from our upbringing, and what are they saying? You're not good enough. You're not worthy. No one likes you. You drive me crazy. Why are you like this? Are you stupid? You're so sensitive. You don't know anything. Why can't you be like so-and-so? You're crazy. And children will hear these exact words, like myself, and can pick up on those things, even if they're ignored. They're still there. They're still in this background process. And it's like if you're a kid and you need something and you're ignored, and you're just forever treated like a burden in somebody else's life that, like, supposedly, loved you, wanted you, all that, if no matter what you do or they do, or say you do something crazy or act out and your parent gets angry, right? They'll give you this look of contempt. But a lot of times, when you're in like that, you act out because you want some sort of attention that you are not getting. And you can get this look of contempt, right? Especially if you dealt with narcissistic parents. And if you got that look, it was as if you knew that your parents hated you. That, some people even felt like their parent wanted to kill them. They just wanted them gone. So those are the messages that the children picked up from the parents or whomever when they were young, and that becomes their inner voice. There's a core programming of shame that was installed in that child by toxic parents, and it's running all the time. And the only way to heal and overcome this repetition of toxic relationships isn't the start of the iceberg, the codependency. It's not getting rid of the codependency, because it's not the root cause. It is a symptom that we want to face, but it's not the real cause. The only way to really overcome codependency is to start at the bottom, the root cause of everything, which is those inner programs, the inner dialogue, the false beliefs that lead to the behaviors that lead to the codependency. And yet people prefer, to learn about the opposite, the narcissist, how to identify them, what to do. But I want, the codependents to get that validation that they really need. And I want to provide tools that can help, because it's a lot easier to talk about the narcissist or the other person who is hurting you, because they're also hurt and what they're doing and saying. It's easier to focus on that than really take the time to do the inner work, because it's not easy to get in touch with those old programs, those core beliefs that create a life that you really don't want. And it takes effort. It takes hard work. It takes patience and compassion and being willing to feel it, to heal it. We have to get to a place of where we just cannot avoid the pain anymore, and we really kind of have to go through it. And in order to process it and release it, and not everybody is able to do that, or even at the point where they feel ready to be able to do that. So I'm definitely going to be exploring more and putting out more videos, getting deeper. And we're going to focus on overcoming all these internal programs, these limiting beliefs that are keeping us in situations or in a life that doesn't even allow us to be the person we really want to be, that doesn't give us the inner happiness that we deserve and that we need. So, please check out my other videos. My contact info is always in the description box. And subscribe, definitely gonna be putting out more videos. And if you want a chance to heal within and heal with me on this journey, this is a chaotic life. And I'm gonna be talking about so many different aspects of it. Thanks, you guys. Love.